We're going to start the self-nourishment practice. So come to your yoga mats and come to a cross-legged position. So sitting in a cross-legged position that is comfortable for you. I suggest sitting up on something. So what I usually like to do is I use one of these yoga blankets and make sure it's nice and flat so there's no wrinkles in it, because then I find it uneven underneath me, and I fold it like that. So this works really well for me. I know some people, they prefer to sit up on a block or some bolsters or even a couple of blankets. So it's all about just experimenting and seeing what is the most comfortable position for you. And it's important that it is comfortable. So even if you're working from home, for instance, and it's just like impossible to be sitting on the floor, you always can sit in a chair. You know, something, I would suggest a harder chair, not like something that you can sink into, so that you're able to sit up tall. Okay, so find your sitting bones, sitting evenly on whatever you're sitting on. Close the eyes. Elongate the spine. See if you can consciously relax the shoulders. Relax the neck muscles. Relax the jaw. Relax the tongue and the roof of the mouth. It's an odd place to have tension, but I think very often there is some slight tension in the roof of the mouth. So if you can consciously relax it, I find that it relaxes the whole face, relaxing behind the eyes. Same thing, when you get that deeper relaxation, tends to relax all around the eyes, the eyelids, the forehead. Feel like you're sitting evenly on the sitting bones. And allowing the legs to feel heavy. So your legs and your pelvis are grounded. And then you're growing up from that foundation, but in an easy way. So no or very little effort needed. Start to tune in with your breath. So first just noticing your breath, noticing the inhales, noticing the exhales, noticing the movement in the body with the inhales and the exhales. Slowly starting to bring some control to the breath. So making a soft sound. Using that sound to keep the mind concentrated on the breath. And seeing if you can make the inhales and the exhales the same length. Bringing the hands in front of the chest. You can give yourself an intention for the practice. Any intention that feels close to you or appropriate for you today. And I like to give some suggestions just in case something doesn't come to mind. So a suggestion could be an intention on feeling gratitude, the sensation of gratitude, inner gratitude, feeling thankful to be able to breathe freely, to be able to move our body, to be able to connect with others despite being kind of mostly confined to our own homes. We still are able to feel connection. And we'll chant an Om to begin. Then releasing the arms, opening the eyes. So this class we're going to start with Kapalabhati. So if you don't know this, I'm going to explain it in detail. And it isn't always the best time to practice it at 6:30 p.m. But especially if you've eaten recently, like I have, already had dinner. But if you have eaten, then you just don't do it as quite as deep. And what can be also interesting is that it strengthens the abdominal muscles, because Kapalabhati is meant to pull in deeply, and then it expels air out of the lungs quickly. And so it's used for a preparatory practice. It's called a kriya, a cleansing practice. It's used as a preparatory practice before we do pranayama, so before we do breathing practices. And so it can also be helpful before you start an asana practice to clear out the lungs. It starts to bring the nostrils, so if you notice if one nostril is closed more than the other, it can help to free both the nostrils. So we're going to do this we're going to do a prep for Kapalabhati, where we're going to hold our breath. So I'll just show first. So you exhale fully. I'm holding my breath, and I'm putting my hand below my navel, and I'm trying to pump the belly. So inside. Okay, so you pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. It's like it's going tum, 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 like this. Okay, so give it a shot. So exhale completely, hold the breath, hand below the navel, and see if you can pull those lower abdominal muscles inside until you need to take a breath. And I'm just having a look if everybody looks like they're getting it. So do it a couple of times. Okay. So this gives you the rhythm. So that's the rhythm we want to have with Kapalabhati. But the difficult thing is that now it's concentrating on the exhalation. So we're going to be breathing at the same time. So you exhale fully. And then you want to, if possible, you can engage Mula Bandha, keeping Mula Bandha. And then I'm going to show. Okay, so exhale. Inhale. So I'm feeling the exhale coming forcefully out of the nostrils from the belly. So I'm exhale, 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 exhale. Okay, so if that makes sense, or if you've done this before, you just go ahead and do a couple of rounds. Otherwise, I'm going to explain it again. So you could put your hand under the nostril, like, 5-10 centimeters, and you exhale fully. Try to get the bandhas. Inhale, keeping the bandhas, and then exhale. Trying to make that sound with the exhale. So let's do 3 rounds. So when you start to feel like, oh, my rhythm isn't a rhythm, then you need to stop. Or the mind goes off the breath, you need to stop. So as soon as it feels like it's not rhythmic and doesn't feel like you're concentrated, that means your round is finished. Or if you get contractions in the belly as well. Okay, so just try one more. When you're finished, you can open the eyes, remove whatever you're sitting on, and then come forward and come to the hands and the knees. Bring the wrists under the shoulders, the knees about under the hips, and we're going to warm up the spine. So we're going to do these movements like you're rolling your spine, rolling your pelvis. You can bring your weight into one wrist, back, doing basically any movement that is feeling good on the back. So you're rounding a little bit and then arching, moving the weight from one knee to the other, to one hand to the other. And just slowly feeling like you're able to get some mobility in the spine. And then if you've been going one direction, switch it, go to the other direction. Basically doing whatever is feeling good. And then you can come to neutral, and we're going to do the cat-cow. So inhale, open the chest, drop the belly. Exhale, pull the belly way inside, push the hands, lift the spine to the ceiling. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest. Exhale, reach the back all the way to the ceiling. And a couple more, your own breathing rhythm. Inhaling. Just taking as long an inhale as you feel comfortable. And then coming to a neutral spine. So see if you can feel your crown reaching in one direction and the sitting bones reaching in the opposite direction so that you're making space between the vertebrae. Feel like you're elongating your entire torso. And then press into the hands. Feel the area of the belly firming in. So not over squeezing, but just firming in. And then maintaining this, you're going to stretch one leg out, pressing the heel away. Feel the upper inner thighs reaching towards the ceiling, engaging the front of the thigh. And then switching sides, left leg stretching out. Pressing the heel away. Seeing if you can co-contract the muscles so that the hamstrings are engaged as well as the thigh muscles. And replacing the knee and lifting the right knee up, and then this time picking up the leg, bringing it parallel with the floor, or as parallel as you can figure out. And then exhale, you're going to bring the knee close to the chest. Keep the belly in and stretch the leg back out. Inhale, bringing the knee close to the chest. Squeeze the belly muscles. Exhale, stretching away. Inhale, back in. Exhale, stretching away. And changing sides. Left knee lifts, straightening the leg, and then picking up the foot. And inhale, pull the knee close to the chest, and stretch the leg away. Feel the firming in of the belly. Inhale, and exhaling. One more. Inhaling, exhaling. And replace the knee. Walk the knees back a little bit. And then bring the sitting bones towards the heels. Come high up onto the fingertips. And then reach the sitting bones towards the heels. And walk your fingertips a little bit further forward. So you feel this big, nice lengthening sensation all along the back body. Bring the ears between the upper arms. Pull lower abdominals in. And when you feel like you've reached the lengthening and you're going to stay, then you press the palms of the hands down to the floor and bring your ears between the upper arms and breathe deeply here. Check the muscles between the two hip bones are pulling in, making a hollow between the hip bones. And now, you're going to keep the legs as they are, but walk the hands over towards your right so that you're stretching the left side of the body. And if you want to, again, you could come up onto the fingertips. Experiment, see how it feels on the fingertips. See how it feels when you press the hands down. And then walk the hands back to the center, and then over towards the left. Once again, you can experiment coming up high on the fingertips, reaching that right sitting bone away from the right hand. And coming back to the center. Coming up onto the hands and the knees again. And then this time you're going to see if you can straighten both knees and come into a plank pose. Pressing the heels away. Feel the upper outer arms, skin wrapping towards the back of your mat. Then leaning forward, slowly coming down to chaturanga all the way down to the floor. And you can make a pillow with your hands, like put the palms on top of one another, and then place your forehead on that pillow. Relax the legs, and just shake out the pelvis a little bit. So shaking out the lower back, just wiggling back and forth, shaking out that whole area. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. And then you can still come to stillness, and you're going to slide your right knee out to the side. Okay, so you're going to decide how much feels comfortable. Maybe eventually the knee in line with the hip. Maybe not. Make sure it feels comfortable. And even from there, you might feel like it's comfortable to stretch out the leg. Okay, but this is not meant to give you really deep stretching. So if that's happening, I suggest that you find the position you're able to release into the floor. Okay, and then put your forehead back down and see if you can let go here, completely relaxing. Check the places you habitually hold tension. You know, perhaps it's the neck, the shoulders, the buttocks, the lower back, the jaw. And allowing the muscles to melt towards the floor. Bringing your awareness inwards. Bringing yourself back to your intention, the first intention you made. Seeing if you can feel your body from the inside. Developing deep listening to the muscles, the tissues. And then slowly bending that knee, sliding the knee back into a neutral position. And you're going to switch sides. Bending the left leg up and seeing how that's feeling. Feels very comfortable. Maybe you start to stretch out the leg. And once you've found the position you're going to hold, you can scan your body. Notice if you're holding tension somewhere. If you find that tension, try to breathe into that area and try to release it. Once you feel comfortable in the pose, sorry, it's my dog. She heard a dog barking outside and she has to respond. So try to ignore that and bring yourself back to your original intention. Reminding yourself of your intention. Using gratitude, think about the things that you feel grateful for. And then slowly bring the leg back. And then you can come up onto the forearms. So bring the elbows under the shoulders, or if there feels like there's any pinching in the back, then you're going to walk your hands forward. Okay, so you do not want any pinching in the lower back. Then from there, you're going to bend your knees up and allow the legs to relax. So the feet relax to the sides. Misty, no. No. I don't know if you guys can really hear what's going on, but there's a dog barking outside on the street, and she's just totally disturbed by the whole thing. Okay, so your knees are bent, and your feet are hanging out to the sides. So that you're getting internal rotation on the femurs. This is a nice pose if ever you feel like your SI joints are a little out of place. I find this very helpful, and it expands the whole back body. Okay, and then from there, you're going to turn one ankle, awakening that ankle, turning it in one direction and then the other direction. And then turning the other ankle, awakening the ankle, turning it in both directions. Nobody listens to me in my house, by the way. My kids or my dog or my cat. Okay. Okay, put the toes down, bring the hands beside the waist, and push yourself into a puppy pose. Stretching once again, the whole back body. Misty, come. And then walking your hands towards you, you're going to lift your knees and then separate the feet, and sometimes the heels don't come on the floor. If that's the case, don't worry about it. You can just try to either balance here with the fingertips in front of you, or maybe balance with the hands in prayer in front of you. If your heels come down, then it's a little easier to balance, and you can still keep the hands in front, or see if you can bring the hands in prayer, and then close the eyes, and consciously try to release the buttocks, release the lower back, all around the hips. Coming back into the breathing, the soft ujjayi. And then coming up onto your fingertips, start to lift the buttocks, keep the knees bent, and then bring your forearms on your thighs. So the feet are separated. If you're a little tighter, you might separate the feet a little wider, or just about 1 foot length. So your forearms are on the thighs, and then push your forearms into the thighs and lift the chest away from the floor and pull the lower belly muscles in. So actively pulling the lower belly muscles in, because as we have gravity, the gravity is pulling them down towards the floor. So we need to consciously pull them in. The back is long, and then from there, you're going to see if you can start to straighten the knees. So even if they don't straighten, it doesn't matter. Just go where you can go, where you can keep the back long. And then bend the knees. And then straightening the knees. Check your inner arches are lifted. Just working back and forth in your own breathing rhythm to slowly allow the backs of the legs to feel like they're releasing. Especially if it's morning time for you. If you're in the evening, it's a little bit easier because the muscles are already warmed up. But when it's morning time, they might feel a little tighter. Okay, and now bend the knees and let the torso drop. Can interlace the fingers behind the back. And let the hands fall over the head. Let the head drop. Inhale, lift, lengthen one side of the torso. Come back to center. Inhale, lift and lengthen the other side. Come back to center. Kind of swinging back and forth. You can straighten the knees as you do so. Feeling like you're lengthening the whole side body. up to stand, one vertebrae at a time. Head, shoulders, arms heavy until the very, very end. And come to the front of the yoga mat, toes touching. Inhale, raise the arms up over the head. Exhale, bend the knees as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway up, open the chest. Exhale, hands to the floor, lean into the fingers, step one foot, step the other foot, and knees, pelvis, chest to the floor. Inhale, open the chest, Cobra. Exhale, turn the toes, puppy pose. Pressing the 10 fingers firm into the floor, feeling the lower abdominals reaching away from the floor. Inhale, lift the buttocks, lift the knees, step one foot forward, other foot forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bend the knees, release over the legs. Inhale, lead with the chest, come all the way up. You can keep the hands apart. Exhale, arms down. So we're not doing it the Ashtanga way. We're trying to be light in the arms. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, as little effort as possible. Release down. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, hands down, step the opposite foot back. Second foot, knees, pelvis, chest to the floor. Inhale, open the chest, Cobra. Exhale, press the hands, puppy pose. Breathing here. Check what's happening, if the lower abdominals are still pulling in. Breathing freely. Inhale, lift the buttocks, pick up the knees, step the feet forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bend the knees, release. Inhale, all the way up to standing. Exhale, arms down. One more. Inhale, easy movements. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, stepping back. Lower, knees, pelvis, chest. Rolling up the shoulders. Exhale, puppy pose. And staying here, tuning back in with the breathing. Inhale, lift the buttocks, lift the knees, and step the feet forward. Long back, halfway up. Exhale, over the legs. Inhale, all the way to standing. Exhale to release. You're going to bend the knees. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, hands down, stepping the feet back. Knees, pelvis, chest to the floor. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, puppy pose. Lifting the knees from the floor. You're going to step one foot forward, the right foot. Left knee stays down. Inhale, lift the arms. It's like a modified Virabhadrasana. Exhale, put the hands down, lift the back knee, step that right foot back, and left foot forward. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, both hands to the floor, step back, knees, pelvis, chest. Inhale, chest opens. Exhale, puppy. And if you feel like it's comfortable for you, now you can start to lift into downward facing dog. And this is optional. If you really want to make this a gentle class, stay in puppy pose. Bend the knees, look forward, step one foot, other foot, inhale halfway up, exhale, bend the knees, raise the arms, inhale, exhaling here, nice. Okay, you're going to step your right foot back and bring the outer edges of the feet parallel. Bring the fingers into the lower abdominals, lift the chest up, and then exhale, fold over, keeping the fingertips into the lower belly, and you're welcome to bend the knees. Relax the head down. Staying down, you're going to release the hand, interlace the fingers, and allow the arms to fall over the head. And you can also hold the elbows if that's more comfortable for you. Inhale, push into the feet, bending the knees as you come up. Then you're going to bring your heels inwards. So the toes are pointing a little bit at an angle. Take your hands on the upper inner thighs. Bend your knees so your knees are over the heels. And then elongate the inner thighs. And then put your hands on your thighs. And then see if you can lift the chest up. If this is feeling quite comfortable, or if you're in the mood to make it a little more dynamic, open the arms to the sides. And then lift the arms up to the ceiling. And straighten the knees. Bring the toes in. Release the arms. You can wiggle the feet towards one another. Coming into a Samasthiti, chest lifted, belly in. Bring the weight into the left foot. And start to lift the right knee up. Interlace your fingers over that shin, and then use your shoulder blades to lift the knee up. So the knee is trying to come a little bit closer towards the chest. Breathing here. Then, holding your ankle with your right hand, allow the knee to come in line with the other knee. Inhale, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Reaching the baby finger side of the hand all the way up. And release the right foot, release the hand, back into a Samasthiti. Bringing the weight in the right foot. Pick up the left knee, interlacing the fingers, using from the shoulder blades in the arms, and roll the shoulder blades, lift the knee a little bit higher. Keep the chest lifted. See if you can straighten the standing leg. And then bring the hand, left hand on the ankle, release your right hand, bring the knees level, and reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Trying to get a little taller, a little longer in the waist. Breathing freely. Enjoying the breath. And then release. Bringing the arms down to the sides. Inhale, pick up the arms, interlace the thumbs, and reach the thumbs away like they would be pulling away from each other. And then reach the baby sides of the hands all the way up to the ceiling. Here you're going to start to lift the heels from the floor, coming up onto the toes. And exhale down. Inhale, lifting up. Get longer. Exhale down. Inhale, feel like you're lengthening the whole torso. Exhale down. One more. Inhale, up. You're going to step the feet apart. Make sure that you've got the 3 points of the feet firmly into the ground. Lift your left arm up towards the ear, and then slide your right hand down the right side. Stretching out the left side of the body. Inhale, come up, raise the right arm, slide the hand down the left side. And we're going to go back and forth. Inhale, lift, exhale, down the right side. Inhale, lift, exhale, feel like somebody's lifting you up towards the ceiling with that right arm, and then switching sides. Lengthen the left side. And you're not going to your maximum. You're just trying to get some blood flowing through the body, feeling an enjoyment for the gentle movements. And coming back to center, and wiggling the feet towards one another again. Coming to the front of the mats. Inhale, picking up the arms. Exhale, folding over the legs, bending the knees. Relax the head down. Inhale, halfway up, belly in. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step one foot, other foot. And going forward, I'm doing chaturanga. No, knees, pelvis, chest. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, puppy pose. Walking your hands up, point your toes, and release so you're sitting on the outsides of your heels. So your feet are here. And you're going to get your bolster or your couple of pillows and place it on the floor in front of you. Okay, so we're going to do a like restorative kind of pose. And so the way you're going to do this is that you're sitting your hip beside your bolster, or you can even stack a few blankets. And you're going to bring your feet so the one foot is in front of the opposite knee. So not necessarily right angles, just something easy. And then from there, bring your hands and you can see if you can turn your torso towards your bolster. So it's going to be a twisting position. And lie down on the bolster. So either you can stay with your face in the same direction as the knees, or you can get a little deeper twist and turn your face in the opposite direction. And then from here, just try to release. Let it be the bolster or your props supporting you from underneath. So you don't have to do work. You should be able to relax. I hope you guys are all, looks like everybody's comfy. Good. A lot of you have bolsters. This is cool. And I see some of you directly on the floor, and this is a perfect way to do it too. You can just come down on the floor if you feel flexible enough for that. Go ahead. And so, bring yourself inside. Notice the vibrations on the inner body. Okay, so you're staying there, but you're going to try to bring your mind to stillness by bringing it inside, listening to the vibrations in the body, listening to anything that the body may be talking to you. So maybe it's saying, oh, this is not very comfortable, I need to change. Maybe you're finding little pieces of tension somewhere, you know, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the eyes, anywhere that you habitually hold tension. Just bring your mind there and then bring your breath to those areas and see if you can completely relax. Let the floor support you. Let your props support you. And then trying to be quiet. twisting it away from the floor, and then see if you can get a little bit more of a twist towards the opposite from your knees. So reaching around. And then bringing the hands behind you and lifting your knees, and you can let them fall to the opposite side. Lift the knees, let them fall to the first side. And just going a little bit back and forth. Moving the legs a little. And then when you're ready, you're going to prepare your bolster, your props, to go on the opposite side. So either you can bring your bolster to the end of the mat, or just change and face the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm going to, so that I can demonstrate to you, I'm going to change to the end of the mat. So you're sitting with your bolster close to your hip, and one foot is in front of the other knee. You can open the back foot, so you've kind of got these two right ankles, but soft right ankles. Then from there you can turn towards your bolster and lower down on it, keeping the face in the same directions as the knees. Or if you want a little deeper twist, you can turn so that your face is going to the opposite direction of the knees. In whichever pose you're doing, try to find some stillness. See if you can find a way to feel comfortable in the body. If you're having difficulties, it might be that you're going too far into a pose, or it might be that you just need to bring your breath, concentrate on the breath, deepen the breath until the body can settle into the pose. And then slowly pressing the hands to the floor, lifting the torso up, come up onto the fingertips, open the chest, and see if you can get a long spine and twisting a little bit more towards the opposite direction from the knees. And then bringing the hands behind you, coming to the soles of the feet, letting the knees fall to the opposite side, lifting them, letting them fall to the first side, and just rolling a little bit back and forth. And then pressing your hands and coming up to sit. So the next pose I wanted to do is either with a bolster or a block. So if you have a block, I would use that first, but if you don't, then you'll use a bolster or even a rolled up blanket. So I'll just show you first, because you can come to lie on the back, probably a lot of you know this, and then you lift the hips and you place the block under the sacrum. So you could hold this position. If you don't have a block, you can do it with the bolster, but instead you bring the bolster lengthwise, like this, and then you're going to come and sit on the bolster and lower down, something like that. and let the knees drop towards each other. If you have the bolster, this is really comfortable with the knees towards each other. If you don't have either of those, you could roll up a blanket, anything, just placing it under the pelvis. So it should be right under the bones of the pelvis and the sacrum, not under the lumbar spine. Okay, so let me see how everybody's doing, if you found something. Just try to find some relaxation in whichever version you're choosing. If ever you're looking for some props, if you've got the bolster, what's also nice is to put a sandbag over the belly. So if you redo this on your own later, this is very nice, but I don't have any of those here. And so, as usual, just seeing how much you can release so that you're using as little effort as possible. And then, if you've got the block, you push into your feet, lift the hips, remove your block. If you're on the bolster, you roll off the bolster and remove the bolster. And then come back to lying on the back. So first, just letting the back settle, let the knees come towards each other, separate the feet, so that the weight of the legs can come towards each other on the knees. And then separating the knees, you're going to bring your right knee close to your chest, interlace your fingers over the knee, and pull the knee close to you. Then slide the hand behind the thigh, pull the knee close to your chest, and see if you can start to straighten out that right leg. Stretching out the back of the leg. Seeing if you can still keep the sacrum on the floor, the belly muscles pushing in like they're pushing in towards the sacrum. And releasing that knee. Picking up the left knee, first hand over the shin, pulling the knee close to you, and then sliding it behind the thigh, keeping the knee close to you, and seeing how much you can stretch that leg. So maybe it doesn't stretch all the way, doesn't matter if the knee's not straight. If it feels doable, then you can straighten the knee. But check, lower abdominals pushing in towards the floor so the sacrum stays on the floor. And then releasing. And we're going to turn the right leg out so that your ankle is over the left knee. Take your hands on your thighs, so the right inner thigh, left front of the thigh, and then push those away from you. And then push your belly so that your sacrum comes onto the floor. So your arms are straight, you're pushing the thighs away from you, and then trying to pull the belly in so that your sacrum is pushing into the floor. So the arms are active here. Okay, now keeping the pelvis the way it is, so trying to keep the pelvis neutral, you're going to start to bring your left knee towards you and still lengthening the right inner thigh. So don't hurt your knees. If it feels sensitive, you just stop anywhere you need to stop. Okay, so my right hand is lengthening. I'm not just pushing this way, I'm lengthening the inner line of that right then my belly is pulling in firmly, pushing my sacrum into the floor. And releasing, switching sides. Bring the left knee out to the side, bringing the ankle over the knee. So to start, you're pushing the left inner thigh, the right front of the thigh, pushing those away, straightening the arms, and then actively trying to pull the belly in so the sacrum is pushing into the floor. Keeping the pelvis in this alignment, you start to bring your right knee towards you, pulling the right knee towards you as you lengthen the left inner thigh. And then checking again on the lower belly, pulling that in, trying to push the sacrum towards the floor. And release. Bring the knees towards you, but knees towards the shoulders, so they're separated. Bring the shins perpendicular from the floor. Take your ankles or your feet and see if you can allow the knees to come towards the floor. So it's happy baby pose if you know that. And from there you can decide if you want to rock a little bit side to side, massaging the vertebrae. And then bring the heels so the heels are touching. The feet are semi-flat, and then interlace your fingers over the feet and just see if you can relax the arms. So the relaxing of the arms will put a little bit of weight onto the feet, allowing the feet to come a little bit towards the floor. Just go in a gentle way. We're not trying to get our maximum here. We're self-nourishing. We're not trying to be extreme. Once again, checking the lower belly. Lower belly is pulling in. And then releasing the legs. Slowly placing the feet on the floor. Let the knees come towards one another. And then sliding one leg out, sliding the other leg out, shaking the legs a little bit, feeling a little bit of massage on the lower back, the sacrum area. And then releasing, letting the hands face towards the ceiling, palms up, relaxing the arms. Going to take a short shavasana here. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the throat.
side, letting the arm be a pillow for the ear. Pressing into one hand, using the arms to push yourself back up into a sitting position. And taking whatever you want to sit on, so if you have your blanket, your bolster, and coming into a sitting position. Cross-legged sitting position. Making sure you're going to be in a place where you can feel the mind can relax. So if it's comfortable, it's more likely the mind relaxes. If your knees are hurting or your back is hurting, then your mind is going to be going to those places. So really do whatever you need to do. Even if you need to sit up on a chair or put some blankets under the knees. I'm going to start to synchronize our breath. So first, starting with an exhalation. Exhale from the lower belly. So exhale, pulling the lower belly in, the upper belly, pushing the air out through the lungs, out through the throat and the nose. And then inhale from the top, through the nose, down the neck, into the chest, into the belly. And then exhale the opposite. Inhale from the top. Exhale from the bottom. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. You're going to start to work at your own breathing rhythm. Counting the length of your inhale and trying to make the exhale the exact same count as the inhale. So if you're inhaling to the count of 5, you exhale to the count of 5. You're going to do 5 inhales and exhales like this, using the sound of Ujjayi. Keep exhaling from the bottom, inhaling from the top. Feeling the expansion of the rib cage with the inhale, the decrease of the expansion with the exhale. Now, no matter where you are, you're going to exhale completely. Inhale. Exhale completely. And then at the end of the exhale, you're going to bring the chin towards the chest towards the chin, and retain the breath. Holding the breath. Inhale, release the chin. completely. Pull the chin in. Hold the breath at the end of the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You're going to do 3 more your own breathing rhythm. So holding the breath at the end of the exhale for the same count as you inhale. So if you're inhaling and exhaling to 5, see if you can hold for 5. When you've finished your 3, go back to synchronizing the inhales and the exhales. So you have the same length for both inhales and exhales. Breathing in from the top, exhaling from the bottom. This time we're going to retain the breath at the end of the inhalations. So everybody exhale wherever you are. Inhale fully from the top. The end of the inhale, Jalandhara Bandha, chest lifts, chin in. Holding the breath for the same count that you inhaled. And then exhaling. Inhale fully. Retaining the inhale. Exhale. Inhaling fully and retaining the inhale. Exhaling, doing 3 more your own breathing rhythm. So holding the breath the same count that you inhale for. So if you inhale for the count of 5, retain for the count of 5, exhale for the count of 5. You've done your 3, continue inhaling and exhaling, inhaling from the top, exhaling from the bottom. Making the sound, Ujjayi sound. And then slowly making the sound calmer and calmer. With each round, the breath becomes quieter. chest moves less and less. Slowly, slowly. There's no noise from the breath, no sound from the breath. Slowly, slowly, the movement is imperceivable. You hardly notice the body moving with the inhales or moving with the exhales. So everything is becoming quieter and quieter. Noticing the vibration of the inner body. It's becoming quieter as the breath becomes quiet. The body becomes quiet. As the body and the breath become quiet, the mind becomes quiet. And then noticing if you can feel the subtlety of the mind. So it goes beyond the thought mind. Going to the subtle mind. Then seeing if the subtle mind can release, and if you can come to the subtlety of the heart. Feel the heart center. Noticing if you can listen to the heart. Noticing if you can live from the heart. So as we'll bring ourselves outwards again, see if you can still remain connected to the heart center. Feel like the heart center is expanding outwards. It's expanding out to all beings in our planet, on our planet, in our solar system. Feels connected inwardly and also outwardly. Noticing that when you're truly connected to the heart center, you can truly feel, feeling from the inside, not feeling from the mental, not feeling from the mind. You feel at both connected and grounded and open and awake. Bringing the palms to the heart center. I'm going to try to share the benefits of yoga. Share the benefits outwardly. You can either imagine somebody who needs this, somebody you're close to, somebody you know, or share it outwardly to your community, your city, your country, your continent, your world. And let's chant Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your time with me and sharing the practice outwards to everyone who needs it.